there's a big fight in the United States, specifically about NATO, the cost, and whether it's worthwhile for us to be a member. Where I'm standing right now is in front of a sculpture of a little girl holding an umbrella that says NATO on it. That little girl represents Ukraine, protecting all of NATO, as you see. That's what they're doing. Even though they're not NATO members, they are protecting NATO and the free world. Here's one of the things I want to say. People don't understand what NATO was set up for. NATO was a political and military organization set up to protect the freedom and security of its member nations. It was never set up to be a military force to attack other countries. It was never set up to attack other countries or to support that by individual NATO countries. So right now, if a country does not want to participate with the United States in this situation because the United States is not being attacked, they don't have to. And NATO has no voice in that. One of the important things of this is the actual cost to the United States of being a member of NATO. We've heard many times that NATO does not pay its fair share. I'm going to tell you something that you don't know and probably don't even realize. The budget for NATO is called the common budget. When we look at all the budgets, military budgets of all the countries of NATO and combine them, we see total spending of $1.6 trillion. The United States, being the largest economy in the world, spends over $1 trillion per year on its own defense. The rest of NATO spends about $650 billion a year on its own defense. This is not the joint defense of NATO. The only money that goes into the joint defense area is the common budget of NATO. That common budget is determined by the gross national income, or GNI, of all NATO countries. Here are the numbers, and they're a little detailed. If we add all of the economies of all the NATO countries together, we come up with a number. If we divide the GNI of the United States into that number, we come up with 53%. So the United States represents 53% of the GNI of all of NATO. Here's what we pay. In the history of NATO, we've never paid more than 28%. Currently, we pay less than 15%. Now, an equitable amount, we could argue, could be 53%, but it's not. Because NATO realized in its founding that the United States economy is so large and a lot of NATO costs are fixed. So those numbers, as I said now, are 15%. What is most interesting is the country of Germany, which is the United States is 6 times larger than. The country of Germany pays the exact same dollar amount we do. Figure that one out. The last thing to say is, what do we get for being part of NATO? As I stated, we spend $1 trillion a year for our defense. But if we were ever attacked, the $650 billion NATO would be there for us. Our force almost doubles. And what's the actual cost of that per year? 0.1% of our budget for our military every single year. A total of $750 million to have the second largest, second strongest military in the world stand behind us. To me, and to anybody that really understands deals, that's one hell of a deal. It would be insane to leave NATO. Thank you for listening.